I don't normally do these reviews of Impact's weekly show these days, but since last week's AMC debut was trashed by almost everyone except TNA and the AMC executives, I thought I'd watch this week's show to see if there was hope for TNA on AMC. So this week's episode starts with Moose versus Cedric Alexander, which was a great way to start the show. A lot of back and forth between the two, and the crowd were really into this match as well. It ends all of a sudden with Alexander getting the quick victory. Next, Santana comes out to the ring and gives his first promo as world champion. He gives praise to Kazarian and mentions AJ Styles, and then plays a recorded message from his father, which had everyone wiping away tears. It was good that Santana wasn't interrupted by anyone who was looking to set up a future title opportunity, as this provided a chance for Santana to connect with the crowd as a babyface champion, which really worked, actually. After the match, we go backstage where Gia Miller is interviewing Mustafa Ali of Order 4. It was a typical heel interview from Ali, with him being terrible to Gia Miller and talking trash about the Hardys and Jeff Hardy as he was facing him later on in the main event. Then we get back out into the arena and the camera does a quick pan of the crowd and shows Chris Van Vliet in the front row of the crowd this week. Then we head back into the ring for a match between Indy Hartwell and M by Elegance. So the personal concierge comes out to the ring and introduces M and the rest of the Elegance brand, including Ash. Lots of interference. However, Indy gets the win, and Ash tees a face turn, but quickly reveal that she was faking it when Lei Ying Lee, the Knockouts champion, and Xia Brookside come out, as she attacks Lee and seemingly reveals that she is cleared to wrestle again and wants to go back after the Knockouts championship that she never lost. Now, this is fantastic to hear, as Ash had to give up Knockouts Championship before the Bound for Glory pay-per-view due to an undisclosed injury. Hopefully, the Elegance brand will hold all of the Knockouts gold again. The next match was the Feast or Fired match, which sees competitors compete for 4 briefcases, which contain X Division Championship opportunity, International Championship, and World Championship opportunity. And the last case, of course, containing the Fired. So meaning that the wrestler who wins that briefcase is fired from TNA. The competitors in this match were Mance Warner, Eric Young, Eddie Edwards, AJ Francis, Rich Swann, Jason Hotch, John Schuyler, Ryan Nemeth, Steve Macklin, and the surprising return of Trey Miguel after his firing from AEW earlier this week. This match should have been on the debut show last week, as all of these wrestlers were available but unused. Specifically Mance Warner, AJ Francis, Eric Young, and Rich Swann. I'm not going to go through all of the events of the match, but you should definitely check it out, as it was very enjoyable, as you should check out this entire episode after this recap. The briefcase winners were Eric Young, after attacking Hometown Man before he got down to the ringside, because both feet need to be on the floor for the briefcase to be claimed. Macklin won the second case, Trey Miguel won the third case, and Eddie Edwards won the fourth. My predictions for who has which case are Eric Young with the Fired case, hopefully moving into a backstage role within TNA. Trey with the International Championship opportunity, Eddie with the X Division Championship, and Macklin with the World Championship. I hope TNA don't give Trey Miguel the Fired briefcase, as that would be a horrible thing to do after being fired from AEW earlier in the week. And I want Macklin to have the World Championship briefcase, as he is the most deserving of an opportunity for the World Championship, and definitely seems like he should be moved up into the main event picture and world title picture as well. There were a couple of backstage segments after this with Nick Nemeth and Mike Santana, where Nemeth brought up Santana's daughter, which led to a brawl between the two. And the second segment was with BDE playing video games with his buddies, and then Nick Nemeth coming in after getting into a punch-up with Santana and yelling that BDE is a joke and he shouldn't be in wrestling. This leads to a match being set up between the two of them for next week's show. Now, this match should be amazing as their styles of wrestling match up really nicely, and Nick Nemeth makes anyone look like $1,000,000. Then Elena Black comes onto the Impact stage and gives a heel promo saying that she should be the next challenger for the Knockouts Championship because this show and company should be focused on her and her alone. I mean, given that there's hardly any knockouts in the division worthy of challenging, I wouldn't mind her going after the championship. We go into the backstage area again, where Daria Ray is talking to Santina Marella until Ariana Grace appears and seemingly makes amends with her father as they hug after she apologizes. I'm not really sure what this is all about, but we'll have to see on the next episode. The main event match was Mustafa Ali versus Jeff Hardy. Now, this was a good final match for a TV show. At one point, Elijah even comes out and distracts Ali, which leads to Jeff getting the win. We then get a promo after from The Righteous. The final segment of the night was JDC of the System announcing his replacement, Bear Bronson. JDC gets a low blow from Eddie Edwards, and the rest of the System start attacking Moose, which prompts Cedric Alexander to come out to the ring with a chair. As soon as he hits the ring, everyone clears out, except for Moose, and lo and behold, Cedric Alexander hits Moose with the chair. Eddie grabs the mic and says that they weren't going to kick out just one person, but two. And the show ends with the new System standing tall over Moose. This was a much better show than last week, although there were still the visa issues hadn't been sorted out, and it looks like they were able to work with the wrestlers that they had available though. And the reveal of Ash by Elegance returning to in-ring action imminently, a feel-good moment. There definitely needs to be more challenges in and around the Knockouts World Championship picture. Santana's first promo as champion was excellent, and the return of Trey Miguel was a genuine shock, and I seriously hope that he doesn't have the fired briefcase. The main event angle was an excellent way to end the show and get people to watch next week, when we have Nick Nemeth versus BDE, Elena Black's first match as a TNA signed wrestler, Jason Hotch versus Elijah, and AJ Francis versus Rich Swann in a no-holds-barred match, as well as the Feast or Fired briefcase reveals. There were still some mistakes, but nothing too glaring from what we saw on last week's debut episode on TNA Plus and AMC. Like the NXT over-reliance in the women's division, both knockouts, tag team, and singles, when they could have used their own teams. The Diamond Collective, like either Tessa Blanchard, Victoria Crawford, or Mila Moore, the Angel Warriors, and Harley Hudson and Myla Grace, even though those two aren't able to work due to their visa issue. Even the Knockouts World Championship match at Genesis could have been held against one of their TNA knockouts, like Tessa Blanchard or Zaya Brookside, but I've talked about those in a previous video that's available on this channel. So, for the first time since Impact has been on AMC, I'm actually excited for the next show. Subscribe to Sudden Impact, the premier destination for news and in-depth analysis on TNA wrestling content only. And buy us a cup of coffee, as the link is in the description and the pinned comment, so we can continue to bring you quality content, and we'll see you next time.